Hello, I'm Lewis Johns, a financial specialist at Credabl, based in Queensland. Financial hardship is often a course completion deterrent for some highly talented students. Credabl has partnered with Griffith University, pledging to provide $30,000 over 3 years to 6 students struggling with financial hardship. I'm delighted to chat today with Murray Thompson, a third-year Doctor of Medicine student at Griffith University, who is the first medical school recipient of the Financial Hardship Scholarship. Hi, Murray.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good. Murray, we just want to find out a bit more about yourself, so just a few questions if you'd like to tell us a bit more. Murray, you've been described to us by your educators as a highly motivated, academically strong student who does care deeply about others. So you do sound like the perfect candidate to be a doctor. We'd love to start off with you telling us a little about yourself.
Well, as you've already mentioned, I'm a third-year medical student, so I've started my clinical years of medicine now. I'm currently on placement at Logan Hospital, but prior to medicine, I completed my undergraduate degrees at the University of Newcastle, and I herald from the Hunter Valley. So I come from a small town called Cessnock. I don't know if many people would have been there or heard of it, but that's where I'm from. That's home to me. So I consider myself a bit of a small town person. So moving to the Gold Coast was a bit of a shock for me, bit of a change. I guess I enjoy a lot of the small town life, the familiarity with the townsfolk, and going to cafes, just hanging out with mates and whatnot. Prior to starting university, I was a bit, hesitant because I didn't really know a lot about university life. I was the first in my family to attend university. In fact, I was the first person to actually finish high school in my family. So I was a bit hesitant to start, and didn't really know what to make of it. Didn't really have any resources or, I guess, support or people to lean on. So sort of had to find my own way the entire. But that being said, I'm very grateful of the opportunity to go to university in the first place, and I found that along the way the people that I've met have definitely helped me and encouraged me to grow both like academically and as a person. Especially once I moved to the Gold Coast for medicine. The people here really sort of drive you to be the best person that you can be, and it sort of irons out the differences that people have in upbringing, pursuing a degree like this. So everyone's from different backgrounds, and everyone understands that, and they sort of, everyone around you kind of brings you up to the same level. So
Yeah, definitely. I think academic studies are a great leveler of all people, and when you're sitting doing your exams, everybody's definitely on the same level regardless of where you come from. So having your undergraduate degree in medicinal chemistry and medicinal mathematics, which is very impressive in itself, what is it that then led you to choose to study a Doctor of Medicine?
So I'd always had an interest in, I guess, health and more broadly helping other people. But when I was in high school, I didn't have the grade high enough from school to go straight into medicine. So I decided to pursue, interested in that being chemistry and mathematics. And I found in that pursuit that, yes, I enjoyed them, but it didn't have the person-to-person connection, the interactions that I wanted in my life and out of a career. So I attempted to get into medicine a couple of times during undergraduate, and then I was finally successful in applying for postgraduate medicine, and lucky enough to be accepted into Griffith University. So yeah, I guess it's the desire to have interactions with other people and to help people on a person-to-person basis, and not just be, or crunching numbers.
So you don't fancy doing my job then?
Well, I haven't done your job, so.
Oh, yours sounds more interesting. Don't worry about that. So at the moment, then you are you're living in Southport, where you're studying at Griffith University, and you're currently, I understand, you're travelling to Logan Hospital for your third-year rotations.
Yeah, that's correct.
Great. So with that, obviously there's a bit of travel involved there. So up until now, how have you been paying for your studies and your lifestyle?
So up until now, I've been the recipient of Centrelink payments. So the youth allowance / Oz study payment. That's been my main source of income. I just find that it's too difficult to balance working and studying full time, especially the degree that I'm doing. For the first year of my degree, I did actually have a part-time job. So I worked in retail, and I'd worked in that job for 9 years until last year. But sort of as the years have gone on in my degree, it's become more difficult to balance that. On the side, I do a bit of tutoring occasionally, but it's not substantial. It's just those Centrelink youth allowance / Oz study payments that pay for my food, pay for my transport. But with the added travel of going to Logan Hospital now, it's become quite a bit of a burden financially. It's a good extra $50 or so a week in transportation that I'm looking at.
Yeah, look, I can really understand what you're saying there, and being in a position where you've got a great opportunity to study and become a doctor, and you don't want to jeopardize that by trying to be juggling too many balls and also holding down a job at the same time. So I completely understand if you wanted to or you had to stop working so that you can focus full time on your studies. So with those added pressures of not being able to work because you do have to study full time, what does the Credabl Financial Hardship Scholarship really mean for you?
So for me, it means that it's one less stress that I have to think about. So instead of having to ration the small amount of pay that you get from youth allowance and Oz study for things like rent and food, and transportation, I can now take away the transportation aspect of it, and use the scholarship that I've received from Credabl to subsidise that transportation, and I might also look towards putting it towards some sort of tablet device that can allow me to study as well on the trip to and from hospital.
Well, look, that's great, and we're definitely really happy that we've been able to help out. How long do you have now until you graduate?
So I graduate at the end of next year, so 2022. So it's a bit under 2 years now.
Look, definitely a lot of hard work to be done between now and then, so I don't want you to get too ahead of yourself, but what are you planning to do once you graduate?
Oh, well, that's the age-old question for medical students, I think. That's a tough one. I think I want to spend some time rural, in a rural location. I am a bonded student, so that's a requirement, but I do have an interest in giving back to the areas where I came from. As for what I plan on specialising in, who knows? I recently did a stint in palliative care, which I enjoyed. So that's definitely up on the list at the moment, but it's too early to tell, I think, just being at the start of third year.
Definitely one thing at a time. You need to walk before you can run, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So Hunter Valley, how is your palate for wine?
Let's just say I moved here, that Queensland seems to get all their wine from South Australia. I can't find any Hunter Valley wine here.
Oh really? Oh, I've got a couple of mates that are wine reps. I might need to try and hook you up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've tried everywhere and nowhere seems to stock it here. So you go into the vineyards in the Hunter Valley and they take care of you, like, since you're a local. Yeah,
it's we've got Stanthorpe, which is couple of hours drive from Brisbane, but I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not much on the Hunter Valley. Off topic there. So, Murray, any tips for any young people who are wishing to pursue a career in medicine but unsure if the duration of study is going to be financially viable for them?
I think the financial burden of it definitely is a challenge, particularly around getting into medicine. Unfortunately, the systems for getting in, they do disadvantage people who can't financially afford it, and I definitely found myself, on the receiving end of that. I think it is important to have like a good support network, people that encourage you, and if you have that encouragement and a solid group of people around you, then you will find a way, and you can find a way. And it does help having universities and organisations having scholarships and schemes that can help people who are financially disadvantaged getting in. I would also recommend contacting, if possible, people who have gone through the gauntlet of applying to medicine, and just sort of seeking advice and guidance from them as well. There's so many different avenues and considerations that you need to make when it comes to applying and then also studying, both financially, social life, studying, all that sort of stuff, and finding someone who can provide that guidance, or at least just, a bit of advice is beneficial and helpful.
Thank you, Murray. That's good advice. I'm sure we'll be continuing to watch your career after you complete your studies, and hopefully with as few financial burdens as possible. Murray, it has been lovely getting to know you and hearing your story. I look forward to staying in touch with you going forward. At Credabl, we do really believe in helping medical professionals access the tools that they need to be able to do what they can do as best as possible. But thank you very much, Murray, and it has been great hearing from you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.